Hello, good morning and welcome to today's workshop. You're joining me for a live workshop today called Cyanotypes, Sunprints and botanist Anna Atkins as part of Medway Print Festival. Hello, you're really welcome. If you are booked on today, then sit tight. The workshop is going to start in a minute. We're just going to let a few more people join. If you're not booked onto the workshop, if you don't know what this is at all, then these are cyanotypes. They're beautiful blueprints which are only possible because of chemicals that are light sensitive and the sun's UV rays. So if you weren't aware of this workshop and you're thinking, oh, I really wanted to have a go at that, then don't worry, you haven't missed it. Please join us in August. All you need to do is sign up to the mailing list. Go to iprintedthat.com, sign up to the mailing list, and I will send you details. So if you are joining me today, I hope you've got all of your bits together. I'm going to go through those in a minute. I hope it's sunny as well where you are. But if it's not, don't worry, you can still do it if it's a bit overcast. If it's raining, you can't really do it today, but hold on tight to those cyanotypes. You would have received a deliciously mysterious black envelope on your doorstep this week. Hold on to them. Keep them in a nice, dry, dark place, like a drawer. That works really, really well. Put them in there, and then when it is sunny, you'll be able to use them again. I will send this recording to you after the workshop, a bit later this afternoon, so you can print in your own time. Because this is an online workshop, obviously I don't get to see your beautiful prints. I don't get to see you either. So please do pop into the comments. Let me know where you're printing from today. Just say hi. Let me know any questions you've got, anything that I've missed, anything you misheard or didn't hear. Please just ask me and I will try my best to keep up with the comments today. Hello, Sylvie, you've just joined us. Oh, yes, brilliant. Yes, you've done cyanotypes before. So nice to see you on here. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so as a few more people join, we are going to get started. So let's first of all go through all of our different parts that we're going to need for printmaking. So you should have received your black envelope. As I said, that's got your cyanotypes in it. Don't open it just yet. Just a little while longer, I promise. I promise. Have some of you opened it? Go on, let me know. Did you? Did you? So this is your black envelope with your cyanotypes in. Leave that to one side for the moment. You'll also need your leaves, your petals, your flowers. So I've got some beautiful grapevine leaves and some of the immature grapes. I've also got these leaves, which I got from Belmont House earlier on this week, where I ran a lino cut printmaking workshop. I was allowed to take them, I promise. I think they look quite like heuchera leaves, but I don't think they are. If anyone can tell me what they are, I know that the gardener did tell me, but it went straight in one ear and out the other. And that's the sort of the flower that's on them. So if you can tell what they are, please do. Please just pop it into the comments. I've also got some feathers as well. They make really great cyanotypes. You'll often see me just walking through the high street, bending down, picking up pigeon feathers. So they're a really good one. I've got lots of those to use as well. So that's all your natural elements that you'll need. You'll also need something like, say, a clip frame, picture frame. Take it apart so that we're ready to use it. If you don't have one of those, then just a piece of good strong cardboard works really well, or some sort of thin MDF, something like that. You will also need a sheet of like acrylic, so some plastic, perspex, anything like that, as long as it's quite strong and it is clear. That's what you'll need. To go with those, you'll need some just normal pegs that you hang out the washing with, or you can also use bulldog clips. You'll probably need about between 4 and 6 of those. Just make sure that this is about A4 size. That's just bear that in mind. You'll also need a bucket of cold water or access to a tap. Okay, so that's all that we need. Oh, and the sun, don't forget the sun. But as I said, if it is raining where you are today, then you will be able to do it, but just a little bit later when the sun does come out. Hold on to your black envelopes. So I think we are ready to start. So the first part you need to do in the shade. So make sure, if you are in the garden watching this, make sure that you're in a shady part of the garden, or if there's no shade, then just go back into the house, pull the curtains, and make sure that you do this in a dark sort of a shady place. It doesn't need to be totally dark, just shady, because as soon as you start taking the paper out of the envelope, the light will start reacting. It's really, really sensitive. So if you're ready, oh, actually, no, do you know what? We're not going to take the paper out yet. We're going to talk a little bit about design. Sorry, I forgot that bit. Because what's a good idea, because I said it does start reacting straight away. It's a good idea to have a design in mind before you start going. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop you down so you can have a look at some of the designs that I've done. And just to let you know, the Cyanotype paper that's inside the envelopes, it's circular and it's about 20 centimetres in diameter. So it's about the size of a side plate. So just bear that in mind as you're putting your sort of working out your design. And while you do that, I'm going to pop you down so you can have a look at some that I've done, some that you might like to use or sort of get inspiration from. Okay. So you could use something that's just really simple. You could go for just a nice stem of the plant, perhaps with some seed heads at the moment if they're coming, and just the leaves of the plant too. You could quite randomly space all of your elements, or put your elements into threes. We know that odd numbers make really good, it's really attractive to the eye. So you could use just sort of elements of three. Again, that one's a little bit more geometric, although each one is a different size. I've laid them out quite geometrically in a grid formation. You might want to place your design, your elements in a circular way. And again, we're back to feathers, which, as I said, make great prints. So just to let you know a little bit more about cyanotypes. So cyanotypes, sometimes called sun prints as well, because it's the sun that we need to make the prints. They're a basic form of photography which use two chemicals. One's called potassium ferrocyanide and one is called ferric ammonium citrate. Now they do sound a little bit alarming, but as long as they're used safely, sort of carefully, they are safe. One's used in food additives and another one is used as an analytics in blood sampling machines. So they're the two chemicals that are used, and when they're mixed together, mixed with water and painted onto paper, they become very light sensitive. Now, it was discovered by the astronomer Sir John Herschel in 1842, but it was his friend and the botanist Anna Atkins who really made cyanotypes well known. He used to use the blueprints, as you can see, they're blue, and we get that from architectural drawings, blueprints, you've probably heard of that. It's just a way of reproducing something, an image, or letters, or notes, as Sir John Herschel used to use them for. So he would use cyanotypes to reproduce his scientific notes. Now, I'm guessing that Anna might have thought that was a little bit boring, and at the time she was studying algae and seaweeds and ferns, and she was an expert illustrator, but I think she must have looked at this and thought, I wonder if I can use the same process to be able to reproduce the ferns, algae and seaweed that she was studying at the time. and she did that to an amazing degree. And the books that she made up are known as one of the first publications to use photographs. So quite an amazing woman, and they're still around as well. You can still see them at the British Museum. So the cyanotypes work by placing, in a minute we're going to place our natural elements on top of the pre-treated paper that's in your black envelopes, and place them in there, and then we're going to put them in the sun, and where the sun makes contact with the paper it turns blue, and where it's covered up the sun, it won't react with the sun, and you get these gorgeous prints. Some are very solid, some are very ethereal. And I just think all of them beautiful. I love it because you never quite know how the sun print's going to turn out, depending on the intensity of the sun, depending on the angle of the sun. So for example, in autumn when the sun's a lot lower, you get these great shadows. And when it's a bit higher, you get very solid prints and this really gorgeous deep blue. Now you don't have to use natural elements. You can add elements that you can just place onto the paper. So with elements that you can place onto the paper and will stay down, you don't need to use the acrylic sheet that we talked about earlier. But you would need to with things like fabric, lace, string, twine, hessian. They work really well. You can just do paper cutouts. So here I've just torn some paper. Here I've cut the paper into shapes. You can also use Victorian bottles. They make lovely, you don't have to be Victorian, you can use bottles. And again, you don't need the acrylic on top, you just lay those onto the paper. And finally, you might like to use your own hand. Although it does mean staying very still in the sun for at least 5 minutes. So they're all the sort of things you can do. So if you've had time just to get your design together, it's now time to start printing. So we're going to take the paper out of the envelope. So just take one of the pieces of paper and put the other ones back and make sure you close it. You don't want those to start to react with the sun. Just going to smooth that line out. Take your board and put your paper on top. Work fairly quickly, and we're just going to arrange the leaves. Now I would say that less is more with this, so try not to have too many of the leaves overlapping. Just take a few moments just to spread them out. You might want to take a few leaves off if they're really overlapping. If you've got something that's very chunky, then you can just cut it in half, either with a knife or scissors, just to make sure that when we put the acrylic down, there's good contact. And then finally, I'm just going to put those grapes on as well. You can have them coming out just from behind the leaf. And that's it, it's as simple as that. So now add your perspex. Try not to move things too much, and really press down so that you make a good contact with the perspex plant and the paper. Then take your pegs and very carefully clamp that perspex down. Now make sure you don't put your peg over the actual cyanotype paper, because you will end up with a peg mark. So you want it close but not over. And if you've got a clip frame, then you will just put the plastic or glass back on top and then just put the clip frames in. So now I'm going to carry that very, very carefully horizontally into the sun. Horizontally because you don't want all the bits moving around that you've so carefully placed. And we're going to put that in the sun. Now if you are in full sunlight, then this is going to take just 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to be really, really quick. And you'll end up with these very dark indigo blues. If it's a bit cloudy where you are, it's going to take a little bit longer. So it might take sort of 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm just going to show you, you'll end up with these kind of sort of more mid denim blues. If it's very cloudy, I would go up to sort of 40 minutes, 50, maybe an hour, and you're going to end up with these milky blues. So just to show you, they're the sort of intensity of blues that you'll get depending on the amount of sunshine where you are today. Now one way you can tell is, number one, this will go blue. It will go kind of a dusty sort of blue, and you'll see it change right before your eyes if you're in full sunlight. So I'm just going to pop across the room and I'm going to get a cyanotype that's already done, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So this one I did earlier. And I've taken the pegs and the glass, the perspex off. And if you just very carefully move one of these, you'll see that there's a contrast between the background and where the leaf was. So you can take that off. That looks really good. And then we can start the next part of the process, which is washing out the chemicals. So this part is going to be washed out, and this part's already reacted, so it won't be, you can't wash that out. That's now fixed. We're going to wash this out to reveal our final print. And I've just got a bowl of water. I'm just going to raise the camera up so you can see that a bit better. So it's just a bowl of tap water, cold tap water, and you're going to put your cyanotype paper into there. And you're going to rinse out the chemicals that haven't reacted. Now it's a good idea to run this off under the tap as well, and just as you're doing it, just be a little bit careful, because although this paper is designed to get wet, it is still paper, so just be quite gentle with it and just very carefully wring out the excess water, and then you can just go and run that under the tap. When I did this one, it wasn't actually particularly sunny, so you'll see that it is quite a light blue, but the blues will darken over the next 24 hours until the print comes to its full colour. But they are beautiful. And you never quite know how it's going to turn out until it's finished. So that is how you make cyanotypes. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for joining in. If you are printing today, then I will be sending this recording to you later on this afternoon, so that any bits you missed or you wanted to pause or rewind, then you can do that. Please do send me your photos as well. I always love seeing everyone's prints. It's great to see before, during and after as well. So please send those through, and you can tag me. I am at @IPrintedThat. And also please tag and mention Medway Print Festival, at Medway Print Festival, because that is part of, this workshop is part of Medway Print Festival. So thanks so much. If I didn't see many comments come through, but any that have come through sort of in the last few moments, what I'll do, I will go through after the video and I will answer those for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks then. Bye.